And that was the thing, at the end of the day, when we sold the company, and the people who were buying it had no clue who the hell I was. And I was the guy who like thought of the idea and found somebody who and Chattel was a great business guy,
a great salesman,
great sales. Without him selling, the idea is nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but the lesson in business is, if you have a business and you have partners, make sure you're at all the meetings. Make sure they know who you are. Make sure they know, who because at the end, when you sell it,
And the value you bring to the table and to the company.
Yeah. And I remember saying, I think I said it, I remember saying to Chattel and Frank, and, when I was misrepresented in a way, I said, hey guys, why didn't you tell them, who I am? And they're like, well, you didn't come to the meeting. Like, and so that stuck with me. And to this date, I have a business now with partners. I'm at all the meetings. I make sure that,
That's good.
but I reciprocate. And if I have a Zoom call where I'm talking about the business, I'll talk about the founders, like out of respect. But that's something that, unfortunately, with this company, it didn't happen with Chattel.
Listen, we all learned, we all learned from things, and I'm glad you took some key learnings away. Jesus, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add in. It's funny that tying back to Lin-Manuel Miranda, "The Room Where It Happens." That's like one of the songs in Hamilton, where it's basically the people who are not in the room when the decisions are being made are the ones that are left out of the agreements. Or not that you were left out, but they're just not represented fully. So that's critical. And I remember, and I don't know if there's a future episode or this episode, but I remember the day Al left the company. And, he was one of the few people that I trusted. Like, I trusted you at that point, like, because Ant had already established a strong relationship with you. I don't know if Swardano Fest had already happened. We'll talk about that in a future episode.
Hold on. It's Swardano Fest.
Swardano Fest, sorry.
I have that flyer as well, guys.
We can share that flyer if you have it. Send it over. We'll share it. Yeah.
But yeah, it was tough. I remember Anthony and I it was we were in the subway, New York City subway, waiting for a 1 train. I don't remember why, but we were talking about Al's decision to leave and kind of our decision to stay at that time, and we were kind of parting ways. But it was really one of those momentous life experiences. I didn't realize like how that separation, if you will, it's like when two parents get separated. But like, I didn't realize how that separation would impact us as the kids of kind of the LACOM union. And it was really, it was tough for me personally, just because I knew what you brought to the table. And even though Dave was the salesman, you were the creative. And so like, you need that combination. Like, for any business, you need like a strong person who can sell. You need a strong person who can create and make the product look good. So,
So thanks, man. And I really think, and again, you guys should definitely have Chattel on the show, and Frank if possible. But I don't think he did anything like, maliciously. I just think in the moment when you're running a business, and you're trying to sell the company, you unfortunately, some stuff like that, goes to the side. But I mean, that's a personal thing, I think. Like, I know personally, I would never misrepresent a team member. I don't do that now because of what happened to me. Like, now, again, when I have meetings, even Zoom meetings where I'm presenting my new company, I'll say the founder of the, because I'm not even the founder of the company I'm with now.
You're right.
I'll say the founder is this, he started in 2007. So it's important, to mention that.
Yeah.
Because it's just a respectful thing,
So I'm having a recollection now. When you were exiting Al, we were getting bought out by Davidson Media, right? Was that
Davidson Media Partners? Yeah, they were. They were related. They had a connection with Batanga because Batanga, either they owned a piece of Batanga or something like that, and that
did own Batanga.
And then there was a sale from them to Batanga after that, I believe.
So the timing was actually really good for Alan, because when you decided to leave, it made sense on both parties, for Dave's side and for you, because Dave needed all of the shares to be sold to Davidson Media, and you needed to agree to that because you were a shareholder. So you kind of had some leverage there when you were negotiating with him, right? Because I mean,
So in a sale of a company, like you want it to be clean.
right.
So the fact that I basically said I want to move forward so they had to buy me out at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
But again, I don't know if you guys remember, like, the main thing was when we were sold to Davidson Media, like everyone, like salary was, I don't know if you guys remember, like our salaries changed. At that point, we were going to have a salary, right? So prior to that, as the founders, like Chitel and I would barely make a salary. We weren't really paying ourselves. We were trying to, like, keep the company going.
Yeah.
So the negotiation at that point was, and it came in an email. It said, all right, this is going to be the salaries of everybody, basically, right? And I don't know if you guys mind if I say the salary.
Yeah, go. I don't care. Go for it.
So the email basically said, okay, this is an email from Dave Chattel. It said, okay, I'm making 100. Frank, I believe, was also either making 100 or 90, and you, Al, are going to make 60, right? So, and I think you guys are making 60 as well.
Probably.
So, that was like, to me, I'm like, how am I making 60 as the founder of this company? Like, that's when I was like, how can you not express to these guys that I'm, not, I'm not like I'm not a non-founder, like I'm the guy who created this company.
I'm remembering. Yeah, I'm remembering the.
But that was the main issue, and I was like, hey, I'm not gonna agree to that.
So hold on. So had he paid you whatever you were comfortable with, 100 or 90, you would not have left the company?
Absolutely.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yes,
that was the reason you left. I thought. Susan, you remember that was the reason why he?
Yeah, no, Al made it very clear from the.
Hold on. So when I expressed this, and again, I hope you have Chitel on the show, because
we're not gonna have Chitel. I'm 99% certain we're not having him.
Well, when I expressed, that was that, why am I making that amount? Like Chitel went to Frank and to like confer with him that, oh, let's talk amongst ourselves to talk about why he's making 60. Like, that was even a bigger insult,
Yeah.
So, and at that point, there was an email exchange between both of them that said, and I'm gonna, I had access to the emails. I don't know if Chitel knows. Like, I was the IT guy, so I saw all the emails.
Oh man, I never knew that.
Yeah. So the email basically said from Frank, he's like, well, he's expendable, and I don't know how he worded it, but he was like,
right.
So, so that was even worse, So when you're reading stuff like that between the guy that you like, I knew Chitel since freshman year of college, and now we're in. I think I was like 25 at the time, 25 or 35. No, 35. So I've known him for like a long time. To see an email like that between him and somebody that I knew only for several years, so it showed me that he valued Frank Valencia as a CFO more than what I was doing, which is fine. Everyone can have their opinion, but for me, I was like, I don't need to be in that. I don't need to be there if that's how it's gonna be. So that's why I was like, I need to step out.
Yeah, well. Listen, man. Yeah, it's too bad again, but things happen for a reason. I had my exit as well at a year later.
I don't know if you guys remember as well. Like, the other thing was looking at the contract, and I told you guys, I guess, guys, look at this contract, because they're not vesting us right now. They were putting all of us. They're gonna pay us a salary, but they're vesting our shares in this new company. And what I told you guys was, hey, they're buying. It's not like like when SoftBank invested in Icaramba, it was an idea. They're actually buying real assets. They're buying a real magazine. They're buying a TV show. That's something like, we had a show on Mundos, the cartoon.
Oh.
Lugar Heights. They're buying the live shows, right? So they're buying and they're buying the website. So it's real things. Like, and I said, you guys should ask, for a shorter vesting schedule, or just to have your shares, up front.
Yeah, and the disadvantage that Jesus and I we had at the time was that, it was up to Dave really as the CEO. If Dave wanted a shorter vesting, maybe he can negotiate that for himself, but and
Yeah.
whatever, man. I
So
was just
that was my, I think I told you guys before I left, I was like, be careful of that contract because it may end up biting you guys in the end because they could literally fire you and you're not vested. So you're asked out basically.
But they
Yeah.
did pay cash for a portion of the shares. You're right. They were vesting like it's, and I
Yep.
forget the framework, but it was like pay for 33%, the 66% vest over time.
Correct.
So we did get a check because I do remember going to the bank with
Yeah.
with an
Absolutely.
unprecedented check.
going to the bank. That's funny.
But I thought that the vesting should have been shorter or like, like again,
Of course.
they're not buying an idea, right? They're buying like real assets at that point.
It's a good point.
True.
So
But
again,
that could be, that could be discussed and, talked about with other people.
right. For those listening, the key learning point is you need to have someone you trust that knows about things that you are getting into and have good counsel.
Right. We were using one lawyer. Like I think it would have been smart at that point to like maybe go to your own lawyer, right? And say, hey guys, look at this contract, because the contract to me wasn't. But again, I was leaving, so and I was just giving you guys advice because at that point I did bring that contract to a lawyer, and they were telling me, this doesn't make sense anyway for you. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so we get to the point where I forget what road we were on, but Al exits the company now. But we want to keep talking about.
No, but in between there, man, there was a lot of great shows. The Latino step was national. You brought up the Chicago flyer. I mean, Texas. I have flyers that I did for Texas, for California. A lot of shows in Florida. I mean, obviously all the main cities. The shows were very well received. Everybody knew about them. I mean, and I think the reason Ay Caramba took off, to the point where we were able to sell it was because of the Latino Greeks who are on the website, because we did have functionality where people create their own page, exactly like a Facebook in a way, but it's not, obviously it wasn't as intricate, but you had to, you could create your own page. People were able to communicate with each other. So, I mean, the fact that you guys came on board and we had this great property and, we had all these people, wanting this content, it made them come to Ay Caramba because that's the only place they can get it, basically.
That's a good point. Yeah, I kind of, now that you mention it and phrase it in those words, like, I guess we did bring some really good stuff, and I didn't value it as that great, but yeah, if you look back, I mean, it was kind of the cornerstone of the execution of the event. But again, you need the money. So the Army was our anchor client when we did this national Latino college tour, and we visited 13 cities. And I still remember 13 cities, 70 campuses. That was like ingrained in my head. Like we were in 13 cities. We did 70 campuses, and we tried to increase that, layered that on top of our college magazine. It was busy, man. And Jesus and I, brought the bulk of, the entertainment value of these, college tours.
Yeah, I mean, remember, like everybody had their like jobs, right? So you guys were on the road, everybody was doing what they had to do to keep it going. But don't remember, and I remember this. 99% of the content, not the content, but basically the people coming to the website were Greeks.
Yeah.
So that was the main content, was people just shouting out, everything Greek. They were able to put photos, and I mean, it was great.
I'm remembering now, my memory's being jogged of the Jack Daniel's Latino comedy series now.
Yeah. And guys, one of the reasons we were able to successfully launch the Greekster website years later, right? And do like and was because of they were missing that, they were missing having a place like that. You know what I'm saying?
So now we have another episode in the future, the
Greekster.tv.
the Amaru Group days. Yeah, the Greekster the start of Greekster.tv. That's a whole another episode.
And
So I guess
I found an email around there where I think Valencia ended up hiring us to do one of their shows. I looked it up. I found it.
when we were
While we
doing.
were Greekster, they paid us to do something like.
You remember that, Jesus?
You'll have to share the email. I forgot. I'm sure it happened. Al's got a good memory for these.
I'm sure the email was sent, but I don't think it actually came to fruition.
Okay, well,
and if it did, it was probably. Can you send an email blast?
No, it was an actual event. Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'll share the email.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Al. We have 7 minutes. Is there anything else we should cover? Discuss? Any advice you'd like to give the listeners? We haven't. So basically, we're live with 2 episodes on YouTube, and we're gonna get more episodes up this week.
Yeah, I mean, I have the advice is right now you see 3 people, right? So who you guys were definitely like years. I'm 50. How old are you guys now?
46.
46. Okay. Well,
32.
What a liar. 32.
So, you guys, what you guys did was definitely, a generational thing that continues. I mean, it's still, I sent you some clips from YouTube. It's still huge. Stepping is still huge. And, definitely if you have a company or an idea out there and, don't do it alone. That's one of the things is, you can find partners. You can find people who, have a like-minded idea. If there's somebody out there who's doing something similar, approach them, become friends with them, and see if maybe you guys can work together. Because if you try to do it alone, it might not happen. If you do it with other people who also are very creative or bring a special talent, that's something that, that builds a team and will allow you to create anything. Look at Steve Jobs. The guy was not an engineer, nothing. He just was an idea guy. He pulled together a team and he launched Apple. But Steve Jobs was not a designer or
Wozniak, wasn't it?
Wozniak was the programmer.
The programmer.
No. Was it?
I think Jobs knew a little bit. Like he understood it.
Wozniak is Microsoft. Wozniak's Microsoft.
You're right.
Ivy was Apple. Ivy was the creative guy.
Just the message is, if you have an idea, definitely collaborate with other people. And there's another company that's doing something similar to you, and it's you can approach them and see if you can grow together, because that's what we did with Latino Greeks, with you guys, and we created great brands, we created great events, and eventually sold it.
Yeah, I mentioned something similar in prior episodes where, like, when I was starting this with the person who helped me with the original show, which was Neta Bahani, I worked with her for a certain point, and then Jesus comes into the fold and like
takes it to another level.
Right. Jesus, me and him just work. His personality was more passive and calm, and mine was more aggressive and
that's what teams like that succeed all the time. You need the calm guy, you need the aggressive guy, that's why, like, again, Chattel was a great aggressive business guy. I mean, I remember when we were trying to get Leguizamo and some other actors, if we couldn't get this guy, he would be on the phone talking to the agent. If the agent hung up, he'd call him again. Like, you need guys like that to step it up and do stuff like that. And that's something that Chattel definitely we should thank him, because he was definitely that guy.
No, yeah, there's definitely learning things that we learn from every stage of our lives, and there's things that I learned, like you need to be aggressive on the phone, you need to be persistent, you need to be annoying to the point where someone's like, all right, man, let's just do this. Stop calling me. I'm going to send you a check. Let's work together.
And that's like, I've started doing that now, you know, after years of, again, like, you know, if you're an introvert, that's another thing. Like, don't be an introvert with your company. Like, you need to be out there talking all the time, especially now with all this media. You know, do Zoom calls, and, you know, be a mentor. You know, all that counts to build your network. Right now, it's building your network.
Right.
Have a network. The network can build your business or bring you up to another level. So unfortunately, due to COVID, we only got this, but you know, it looks like we're gonna come out of this and keep meeting with people. I mean, meeting with people, interacting with them, and you know, we'll get your business off the ground.
Right. Okay. So those are awesome, wise words from the founding father of Ay Caramba, Latcom Media.
Yeah, so Latcom, remember, was our umbrella because we had so many properties. So under Latcom was Ay Caramba, was University Latino Magazine, Latino Steps, Latino Greek.
Latino Steps.
We had
Did we ever go away with Ay Caramba? Like, I felt like at some point we just stopped talking about Ay Caramba. No?
What do you mean? I think
Like,
once Batanga bought you guys.
no, before that, when you were around, I thought at some point we just stopped using Ay Caramba, the name.
I was there. Ay
You always
Caramba
used it
till the end. It died with it. Yeah. Once I remember the magazines were still going. Once I left, I think you guys got a good creative guy. You got Rich Zuluaga, you know, who was
He had a different style.
He was the designer of Urban Latino magazine. I really liked his. He was more of a magazine layout guy, but his stuff was nice. It was clean, you know.
I mean, I preferred your stuff. To be honest, like I thought, you know, head to head, I preferred your style. He had a different style, you know, like, you know. And I remember working with him.
It's like the Michael Jordan LeBron argument here, because
Nah,
the only reason
bro.
LeBron can get to the level he is because he watched the great one, you know, do it up. So I also liked Al's style better. No offense to Zulu, I think Zulu was great as well for the clean.
Yeah, he just had a different style, but I felt like Al, when he designed our stuff and rebranded it, like I felt like he understood it. Like he got it. You have
Guys,
to.
it wasn't that I understood it. It's because I loved your brand. You gotta love the brand. Like I don't know if I really loved it, but I loved, like, that was like, you know, I really paid a lot of attention,
you did,
you know, to your brand because I thought it was great. It's one of a kind. You're never gonna see anything like that. Seriously.
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And last note, you guys brought up Urban Latino in your last thing.
Rest in peace.
We tried to get those guys on board too, and they would have been able, if they jumped on board with us when we sold, they would have made some cash, and they would have, you know, it would have been a good thing. So that's another lesson. It's like if someone reaches out to you, you know, do your due diligence and try and see if it's a good fit. Because again, you can't do it alone.
Can't.
Not do it alone.
Yes.
You can try, and some people, you know, will succeed, but it's hard. It's super hard.
It is. It is. All right. On that note, thank you so much, Al, for joining us. Thanks for sharing. We will have a next episode. Thanks to logging into Two Frat Boys.
Bye-bye. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Al.